Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
all duties incumbent upon me
as
a member of the Virginia House of Delegates,
as a member of the Virginia House of Delegates,
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Look forward to working with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct pleasure and honor of introducing your delegate, the delegate from the 45th District, Delegate Levine. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It is incredible to see. I mean, I know all of you. So some of you, I have my family here, by the way. There's my mom taking a picture right there. My dad is taking a picture from right there. I've known them the longest. But they actively worked in my campaign. Some of you got calls from my dad or my mom. My dad was known to corral people in grocery stores. I told him not to do that. I'm just be very clear here. Went to parks and my mom was on the phone all the time. Many of you know the person who's actually sitting in my seat. You want to know where I sit in this chamber? Well, the first Dude of Alexandria is sitting right there in my seat. David Boone. Many of you know him. For the record, I did not give him that title. This was a self-proclaimed title that he and I can't stop him. So apparently he's the first Dude of Alexandria. Thank you, Dave. And Dave actually went door to door, helping me out as well. Some of you may not know my niece, Sephora March, sitting right next to David, right there, and my nephew, Sammy March, sitting right there with his beautiful girlfriend, Marissa. And they came to visit me. Sippy all the way from Nashville, Sammy from Philadelphia, where he's currently an engineer. Many of you know a little bit of their story. In fact, their story and my trying to get them home to be with us again is one of the reasons I got into politics. Many of you know the first law I ever wrote was a law to protect victims of domestic violence and to help get children home. Most of you know that story, so I won't go into too much detail here, but it's just such a privilege to have my niece and my nephew, who are both doing really well. Sammy is a very successful engineer. He's working on projects that are so super secret, I don't know what he's doing, but apparently it's really, really important to the U.S. government. He's also got patents, all kinds of stuff. Sephora is in college. She's studying to become a nurse. It's just interesting that, we all sort of want to take care of people. I probably should also mention in the room, in addition to Dave, I've got 2 ex-boyfriends here, which just goes to show you that I do well with my exes, and they both serve people too, actually. David Lord over here is a Commonwealth attorney with his boyfriend, and Brett Humberg works for the International Monetary Fund. So even the people I date seem to want to serve. It's a really good thing. All of you who've worked so hard, Mary, who called day after day after day, and the people were hanging up and shouting curse words at her to get people to vote for me in the campaign. Josh Walker, who I've known through the Truman National Security Project. Kelly and Scott, who are here, who put all my signs. I mean, all these friends. John Bordeaux, early in my congressional campaign. The oldest friend I have here, it's not you, Cynthia, I'll get to you in a minute, is Sandra Hack, is how I know her. Where's Sandra? There you are, all the way over here. She's now Sandra Pulaski. We went to high school together in Nashville, Tennessee. She was in all my math classes, and I sat behind her. We talked about things. And then Cynthia, who's sitting in the back, Cynthia originally Anderson. She's now Williford. Where's Jason? There's Jason and her 2 kids. Actually, Jaden and Cadence are my godchildren, and Cynthia and I have known each other since our first year at Harvard, when we got to know each other, and we've stayed in touch ever since. They came all the way from Wyoming to be here, which is really, really cool. There's just so many people here. There's Leslie Locker. She's sitting right back there. Now, Leslie, I got to know with my campaign to prevent institutional child abuse. This is a placard. I'm an activist, all right? I'm a troublemaker. And this is one of my early protests. It's where I met Leslie. We marched down Washington. I'm actually going to have, it's not going to be this session because I want to get it just right. It'll be next year. This is my promise to you, Leslie. We're going to have a bill to shut down places that abuse children in institutions in Virginia. I can't do it in the whole United States, but we're going to work on it in Virginia. And people like Leslie have inspired me to do that. There's so many people here. I miss every one of you. People, we have our state senator, my state senator, Adam Eben is here. Thank you. He's also, if you live in the 45th, he's your state senator because all of my district is within Adam's district. We have people from the National Organization for Reform of Marijuana Laws that I've worked with. We have Dorothea Peters, who is she's a GAL to take care of children. I can't mention everyone here. I do have to give a shout out to Sam and Ann Ohm. Now, if you read any of my campaign literature, these are my Hollywood models. I can't bring the literature in here because it's politicking, but Sam and Ann, I got to tell you, Sam particularly, before I even ran for Congress, we had a long meeting after an Alexandria Democratic Committee meeting about coal, about the bombing of mountains and coal, and Sam said to me, years ago, you ought to run for office. And I'm like, well, so he did. Sam, thank you for inspiring me to be here today. I appreciate that. Scott Chilton worked day in and day out, both in my congressional campaign and in the delegate campaign. His wife, Sonia, also worked very hard. That's their daughter, who I just met. Elizabeth, is that your name? Emily, sorry. I just met Emily. She's here. Florence, who's a big, strong support. Jordan, who's a strong supporter. Jordan marched with David and I when I had no supporters in the congressional campaign. She's like, who are you? And she started marching with us in the parade. I've known her ever since. Bruce Shuttleworth. Now, Bruce is an example of how you can become really close friends with your former opponents. Bruce ran for Congress in that race where 16 of us or 100 of us ran, the one that Don Beyer won. We used to sit next to each other in all the debates because of the tyranny of the alphabet. Remember that? For some reason, there was no one between Levine and Shuttleworth, and he used to watch me debate, and Bruce and I have become very, very close. And Don Beyer and I are also very close. Many of you know we play bridge together. He's my congressman. I'm his delegate. Oh, Gail Perry in the back. Shout out to Gail because she worked very, very hard in my campaign. Gail is a teacher in Arlington. Gail came to a meet and greet. I'd never met her for the first time. She came to get to know me, and she just asked me tough question after tough question. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And I felt like, she's going to batting me against the wall. I'm like, well, I think this, I think this, I think this. She had this sort of dour look on her face. I answered 12 questions of hers, and I'm like, so how did I